Hi, this is Karen Gaines, your nonprofit finance guide. And today I am going to talk about how you can use the 990 tax form in searching for grants. Okay, so the 990 tax form is a form that's required to be filed by all nonprofit organizations. It's essentially an informational type return. Okay, most nonprofits um, do not have to pay taxes for their nonprofit organization unless they're providing services that are outside the scope of their nonprofit. But by and large, the 990s are an informational return for the IRS so that they can see how funding was spent. Okay? When it comes to the 990 forms and you using them to search for and apply for grants, um, you can use these as a tool to help you determine, how much to ask for, um, who the board of directors are, what you can expect, and etc. So when it comes to using 990 forms, foundations are required to file those so that they can keep their 501c3 status. Okay, so if you are applying for grant funding from a foundation, then you can hop onto the IRS website and look up their 990 tax return to see, who they funded in the past and for how much. You can get all that information just online. I'm going to show you a 990 form and exactly where to look. All right. Okay, so I have a 990 form pulled up here. And you can see it's called 990 PF. I just pulled a foundation in my area, Reynolds and Reynolds, and it's in Kettering, Ohio. But I'm just going to use them as an example of how to use the 990 forms with grant researching. And you can see right on the IRS website, and you have access to all of their prior Form 990 tax returns. Okay, so let's go back. So this 990 form is long. I'm not gonna lie. It's long, it's pretty intimidating, or it can be, but I'm just gonna show you exactly where to go. So you just wanna keep scrolling down, scrolling. Okay, yeah, just keep scrolling. So you wanna scroll down. Okay, here we want to go to this section. Part 14, where it says grants and contributions paid during the year or approved for future payments. This is the section you want to look for. And you can see on the IRS return paid during the year, it's blank. See additional data table. Okay, so let's scroll down some more and find this information. Did I scroll past it? I did. Okay, here it is. So this is what you want to look for. Part 14 from line 3, and so it lists who they paid in 2022. Okay, so you have Selena combined. Looks like Reynolds and Reynolds Associate Foundation. I guess they have another foundation. University of Houston Foundation, Scholarship America, Wright State, and Western Ohio Education Foundation. So they actually funded quite a few foundations. And if you look at the purpose of grant or contribution, you can see the type of funding that each of these organizations received. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 7. They funded 7 agencies last year, or for 2022, and it looks like a lot of the funding was for academic scholarships. Okay. Um, and one for health and human services and community enrichment, which was their other foundation. All right. So if you are applying for, let's say you found the Reynolds Foundation and you thought about applying for that grant and you look at the 990 and you see, well, they are funding mostly academic scholarships, or at least they did in 2022, and you have a nonprofit that caters to the care of cats. Okay? You should look at this and you should think to yourself, they may not fund my nonprofit for cats because I see in the past, or at least in 2022, they've given funding to educational centers, university colleges, and etc. All right. But if you are a university and you're looking at this, you could look at this and say, this might be, right up my alley. I'll have a better chance of receiving funding from Reynolds because I see that's who they fund. Okay. So to the right is the amount. You can see the amounts vary. It looks like they award anywhere from $10,000 to $280,000 for the year. So it ranges widely. Oh, here's one that's $5,000. I bet they're a first year grant recipient. But again, this gives you an idea of who they are funding and for what amount. And also what you can look at is where they fund. Okay. You can see Reynolds and Reynolds funds a lot of organizations in Ohio. Most of these are in Ohio, but there's one in Texas and there's one in Minneapolis. They fund an organization in Texas and Minneapolis. So again, if you are applying for the Reynolds and Reynolds grant and your nonprofit is for helping cats, we'll just say sick cats, homeless cats or whatnot, and you're based in, let's say, Alabama, again, you want to look at this and think, oh, is this the best grant for me? They mostly fund organizations in Ohio for academic purposes to educational centers. This may not be the best fit for me. But if you are a nonprofit, an education or university like based in Ohio and looking at this and thinking about applying for funding, you may look at this and say, oh, okay, this might be a good opportunity. They may provide funding for me based on what they provided in the year 2022. Okay? What you can also do, let's go to the IRS website. You can go to 2021 and see what they funded in 2021. So let's scroll down and look for our Part 14. Okay, here it is. Okay, we have to go down further. Go down further to get to the recipients, and here they are. Okay, so in 2021, again, academic scholarships, Dayton STEM Workforce Program Foundation, or University of Houston Foundation, Scholarship America, Wright State, Western Ohio. So, okay, Western Ohio was not a first-year grant because they were funded in 2021. So I don't know, they must receive $5,000 every year. But you can see a lot of these, not all of them, but some of them, some of these organizations, Reynolds and Reynolds have funded 2 years in a row. But again, even if you look back in another year, 2021, you can see what they primarily provide funding for. And it looks like it's for academic scholarships. Again, educational type centers, universities. So, and this will give you, if you look to the right, the amount, this will give you an idea of how much they funded these organizations for. All right. So you want to take that again. You want to take that, think about it. Think about, weigh the pros and cons, or think about the odds of you receiving funding from someone like Reynolds Reynolds, and then make a determination of, hey, do I want to apply for this funding or not? If I'm a nonprofit that serves cats, I would say no. Your chances of getting funding from Reynolds Reynolds is slim. But if you're a university or educational center, based in Ohio, and look at this, you may think, yeah, this might be I may have a good chance of receiving funding from Reynolds Reynolds. You kind of have to make that determination. Okay. So something else you can also do, I'm going to just flip back to 2022, is go to part 7 of the 990. Okay. And part 7 is information about officers, directors, trustees, foundation managers, etc., etc. And you want to really focus on this section. Focus on the officers, the board of directors. Okay, and again, just like with the list of organizations who have received funding is in the appendix section, so is part 7. So let's find that in the appendix section. Where is it? There it is. Went right past it. So it is a good idea to just look through this list, because they have the names of the individuals who are associated with the foundation. In this case, Reynolds Reynolds. Okay, because you actually might know one of these board members. And in which case you can reach out to board member and say, hey, we'll use Dave Bates, for example. Hey, Dave, I see you're a trustee for the Reynolds Reynolds Foundation. I want to apply for funding. Can you tell me a little bit about what you all want to fund? Can you tell me, how much? Can you tell me my odds of being awarded funding? Just get some information. Ask Dave what they are looking for. See if their foundation and your organization, your mission aligns with them. Okay? And see if it's worth moving forward. If it is, if your missions align, you can talk with Dave about what you're, looking to do with the funding, and just have a conversation about it. Because when it comes time for them to make decisions about who gets funded, Dave will say, hey, I talked with this nonprofit on the phone. They reached out to me. I know them. And I really think they would be a good candidate for our funding. Okay. So, you already, it's essentially relationship building. It's essentially, building a relationship, building credibility, so that your nonprofit will more so pop out. All right. So these are just a few ways. I don't want to make this video too long, but these are just a few ways you can utilize your 990 or the 990 to help determine whether you should apply for a grant, or how to position yourself in a way to be selected to receive grant funding. Okay. So I hope this video has been helpful. If you are watching via YouTube, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what you all think about the video. Thank you for watching and have a great day.